All right, hello everyone. It says we're live. Just want to welcome everybody to the ScrappyDew live show. Of course, I'm Rob with ScrappyDew. I'm joined by Michelle. I'm going to let her introduce herself real quick right here. So go ahead, Michelle.
Hi everyone, I'm Michelle. I'm design team leader for ScrappyDew. I also have a blog at michellemybellcreations.com.
All right. Now, if you're brand new to viewing this stuff, keep in mind there's a 30-second delay between what we're talking about and what you guys are actually seeing. And when you're watching this, if you can't see things pretty good, there's a little gear down there at the bottom. You can go ahead and click that and change your viewing quality. Okay, because we're going to be doing a lot of screen sharing today with this. I plan on going over the Shortcuts Lot 4 version 4.17 that just came out last week, and it's this little tutorial is going to be going over the scan to cut. So I've been playing with this for the past couple days, trying to learn the ins and outs of it. And so I put together a little slideshow, and then we're going to a demo, and then we'll wrap it up with that. Also wanted to talk about the new ScrappyDew store, the layout, how you guys can use it, take advantage of all the great features that are now in it. And I think that will cover our little 30 to 45 minute block of time. Okay, so if you have a question about what we're talking about, feel free to comment down below. We have little trackers that we're tracking everything. Okay, so we can pull up things and comments like this. Hello everyone, it's been a while. So yes, it has been a while. I apologize. Last week my wife was in the hospital, and in the couple weeks prior, just had some timing conflicts and stuff. So we put together this program here, and hopefully you guys enjoy the Shortcuts Lot 4 little tutorial here. So I'm going to go ahead and start off here with a little bit of the presentation on what you actually have to do in order to perform this scan and cut. Okay, so let me go ahead and put up my screen here. So hopefully you guys can see this okay. It's not backwards. It is backwards for me. But all right, so Shortcuts Lot 4 version 4.17. It came out last week. They posted on the Facebook page on the new feature. It's found under the File menu and Scan to Cut. So basically, what a scan and cut will do for us here, it will you have to have an already printed image. And this is not something that you printed per se. Maybe it's something that you got from a store. Maybe it's some tags that you got from a store. Maybe it's a stamp that you're doing, and it doesn't have registration marks on it already. So the scan to cut in SCAL 4.17 will allow you to take those tags. In this example, we'll be using tags, and it gives you the ability to cut around that. Okay, so the examples are down there. You get stamps, pre-printed tags. I'm sure there's other examples out there. So keep that in mind. So these are the tags that I'm using. Okay, these are pre-printed tags. They don't have any registration marks on them, and we want to have Shortcuts Lot 4. Put these cut lines around it, and we have to give it a couple measurements and a couple. You can add registration marks yourself if you wish. So we're going to go over that. So how do you get the photo in there to begin with? Well, you can either take a photo of it at an angle. I'm gonna actually do a demo of the angled photo. There's a scanned image, and I think scanned images work the best. But it's really, really hard. I noticed that if you do this without actually, marking your corners, like I do right here, it's very hard to find the corners, because in Shortcuts Lot 4, we'll find out here, you actually have to identify the corners of the images that you brought in. So what's cool about this is you can take an angled photo if you wish, but I think for the best results, you really need an overhead shot or a scanner, because that will actually help pick up the boundaries for doing the trace. Okay, so that's a little pre-prep stuff. Mark the corners here. The other pre-prep that you need to do is you need to know the width and height of the item that you're actually scanning. So for example, this is actually an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. So you'd have to enter in those values. We'll see that here shortly. But it takes any size. So if it's a 5 by 5, you just have to know what that is. Okay, so keep that in mind. And then we'll find out that there is an optional thing that you can do to these tags where you can actually put your own little dots, your own little registration marks, and in Shortcuts Lot 4, you'll be able to identify those points. Now, those points do not have to be, perfect 90 degrees. It does not have to make a perfect rectangle around it. You just have to surround your items with 4 dots, okay? And we're going to go ahead and move on here. We got the demo coming up. So let me go ahead and share my desktop, and we'll show you what needs to go on here. So in Shortcuts Lot, let me pull this up here. Okay, so I took a photo. I took that angled photo. Okay, I added those 4 dots around the image, and to start this whole process, we need to go to File, and then we'll go to Scan to Cut. And once we are in here, we can, you'll notice here that Shortcuts Lot actually has instructions down here on how to accomplish anything. Now, when you're taking a photo, I really recommend that you have straight edges. Okay, that will assist you in getting a good cut. It recommends you can put it on the mat, or like I did, I just put it on a table, and I'm using the rectangle, and it needs these straight lines, and plus you need to know the measurements, because Shortcuts Lot 4 will actually put this in perspective for us. So it needs to know what angle you actually took that photo. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to load the image here, and go up to my angled photo here, and this I took with a Canon digital DSLR camera, and just because it produces high res, and hopefully it produced high contrast for me to actually perform the trace. Okay, so I'm going to go hit open. You'll see it's in here, and you can zoom in here. And these little green lines, like I said, we're trying to wrap these green lines around the project. And what you need to do first is, you can click this little red box, and you want to put it up in that corner. Now you can see how squirrely this thing is, right? So Shortcuts Lot implemented. If you hold the Shift button down, you can actually do minute little changes. And this is the window right here that I'm trying to pin that little square on. And so you just do that to all 4 corners, and you'll notice that this photo here is taken at an angle, but once we wrap all these 4 squares around that paper, that Shortcuts Lot will say, okay, I know the perspective that you took this photo in, and I will flatten this for you so it will look all nice and flat. All right, excuse me. I'm going to pause right here, see if there's any questions, and we can move on. Is there any questions, Michelle?
I don't believe I see any, no.
Okay. All right, so the next part of this will be, you need to define the length and or the height and width of this. And like I said, I'm using 8.5 by 11. They do have custom sizes here. So if you're using that mat, it's 12 by 12. If you're using, so I'm just using a plain old sheet of paper. So these measurements do have to be somewhat accurate. So make sure you have a ruler if you're not using a standard size paper. But so just keep that in mind, because you'll see later in the presentation what happens if you mess that up. Okay, so length, height. And over here, custom registration marks. Now, you can use this if you want. So what the custom registration marks will do is, if you look at these little dots here, those are our custom registration marks that we'll be using when you actually go put this in your cutter. Okay, so you can skip this part altogether if you wish, and the registration marks that it will use will be the corners of the paper, or it will be the corners of the mat. So if you want, use the dots. I'm going to go ahead and show you what the dots look like real quick. All right, so it's basically the same thing. As you can see, the image is now flattened for me. It's no longer at an angle. And now you can fine-tune these little crosses, and you can plug them in there. Now it's the same like before. Once you get close to that dot, you hold the shift button down, and the sensitivity changes. So you're just lining up all those, and it's all color coded for you. So you got the TL for top left, BR bottom right, so just in case you get your crosses crossed, I guess. They give you a nice reference. All right. So all those dots are lined up. You won't be able to see what this will do without actually seeing the cutter, but we'll go through the steps. Okay. So I hit OK. And magically, you should see my image come down here, and it's all nice and flattened. But when I do a quick preview, I don't have any cut lines. So that's half the battle, right? So we did the scan, we get the scan imported, okay, and so now we need to trace it. All you have to do for that is select the image itself, hit trace, and now we can now we can do a little trace. So I'm going to check out the cut lines here. Now the the trace is going to be dependent upon you. So you're going to have to tweak this as necessary. Won't go over tracing that much, but you do want to have blackout on. And I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. All right. So once we hit OK, stuff will fill in like this. What needs to happen next is, you'll see that there's black up here. Maybe the dots got traced by accident, but we'll go ahead and do this. We'll go to let me go ahead and select this here, and SCAL's a little funky. You have to deselect and then reselect it. So let me see if that worked. All right. So the thing I was looking for is break apart. So we hit break apart, and the easiest way to delete what you don't need, once we let me see here. I don't know why it keeps dragging. Let me go ahead and break this apart, because I should see a little triangle down here on my layers panel. Okay, so I finally did, and then you just have to remove the pieces that are not the shape. So just click the layers, delete them. All right. So now you're almost there, and all you have to do is you'd hit the cutter button. I don't have my cutter plugged in, but you'd go ahead and hit the print and cut. Even though you're not printing, it's already you already have the item, and you hit the print to cut. And then this is where, just like any normal print and cut that you do in SureCut Slot 4, is you hit the next, and it's going to try to find that first registration mark. You go ahead and fine tune it using your arrow key, and once you get close, hit the command or control button to get a little closer. So you'll do that. And let me go ahead and go back to the keynote so we can see the actual results of this. All right. So back in the keynotes. There's my mouse cursor here. Okay, so we'll go ahead and, because I don't have this in the right order. Well, we'll talk about the measurement while measurement's good. Okay, so why is measuring? What does measuring matter? Okay, it's for example, this little image right here. We exaggerated this. We got the width of 8.5. We got the height of 2 inches. Okay, so if you do that, that's what you're going to get. And now you're probably like, well, that's okay. I can probably stretch it out, right? Well, if you do, it's going to be very pixelated. You won't get a good trace. Okay, so that's why you want to measure this. Okay. Let me go ahead and show some of the results here of it. So you'll see this photo here. It didn't matter where those registration marks were. This is the actual cut from the 4 registration marks that I put on there that were not in 90-degree angles. So keep that in mind, that they don't have to be perfect. The other thing is here that this type of scan to cut will be very dependent upon how well you get this trace. Okay, so you'll see on the next photo, I really didn't do a great job of getting the trace to work. You'll see some black edges around here. So make sure you have a good trace. Make sure you have a good calibrated machine, and also the accuracy. Where you put those red squares and where you put those little registration crosses do matter. I did want to show you that you could get a skewed image in SureCuts a lot. We'll go over that here in a little bit if you don't place those red squares properly. Okay. Here's a little close-up of that exact one. So keep in mind that this works with machines that only have laser lights. Such as machines that are the Boss Cut. We got the Gazelle, Sizzix Eclipse, K&K Zing, Cougar Lynx, K&K Max, Silver Bullet, so on. So this technique is only going to be used for those types of cutters out there. So keep that in mind. Let me go ahead and switch back to SCAL real quick, because I do want to sort of stress the importance on how those squares are placed really does make a difference. So let me go ahead and go back to SCAL. And Michelle, feel free to interrupt me if there are any comments or questions or anything, and we'll go ahead and try to answer. Okay, so back into SCAL, and I'm going to go ahead and cancel this. Now, go ahead and delete all that. Well, I'll just start a new page here. Okay, so let me show you what happens if you do not get those squares correct. So we're going to go through the same steps. We're going to load an image. This time I'm going to load that flat image that we used our scanner with. All right. So there's that. So now say that you're trying to get that corner. You're like, all right, that's good enough, right? Okay, so let me hit up these other corners. Okay, I'm somewhat on that blue. Let me go down here. All right, that's close enough there, and that's close enough there. All right, so may need to exaggerate a little more. So you can see how our green lines are not perfect 90 degrees, surrounding that box. Even though we scanned a flat image, it's not 90 degrees. So let me go ahead and hit. I'm just going to not do the custom marks this time, and this way it automatically just goes to the mat, and it's going to use those four corners as my guide. So you can see how not getting close enough shifts and skews my image. So if you're doing this and you have those laser cutters and you're trying to do the scan to cut, just make sure you pay really close attention to where those red squares are, where those crosshairs are. Get a good trace, and it should work out fine for you. So I think that's it with this. Let me go back to the main camera here. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. That's what we're here for. So I'm going ahead and scrolling through.
There's a question from Deborah.
Okay, go ahead and read it.
She asks if SureCut Slot will work with the Cameo.
Yes, SureCut Slot will work with the Cameo, but it has an optic sensor, so you won't be able to do the scan and cut feature that we just demoed. Is there anything else? Do I need to get SCAL 4? I have SCAL 2. Let's see what this question here. Do I need SCAL 4? I have SCAL 2 and 3 and eCAL 2. Will that not work with my Eclipse? My head is spinning. This feature, if you're specifically talking about this feature is specifically for SCAL 4. So if you have SCAL 3, I think it's maybe Michelle can get the price for you, but it's not that much. I think it's maybe around $20 for just to upgrade from 3 to 4.
Yeah, it's $19.99 for them to upgrade.
Oh, yeah, and I think it's totally worth it because they have a lot of they're getting a lot of new features in that program that will allow you to do more creative things. Duplicate and rotate to get the line fill, get the knockout. So lots of great stuff that's in there. All right, not seeing any more questions. Let's see, get a cut from my brother. Uh, this question here, I haven't played with this yet. I know that in SCAL 4 there is a way to convert files, but I don't know if they're from an FCM to an SVG. But I think if you're trying to convert SCAL to rather scan and cut files, it shouldn't be an issue. But I'll have to get back to you on that. All right. Yeah, yeah. Hope your wife's doing better. Yeah. She's doing a lot better. 1 week after surgery here, so she's recouping. Not seeing any more questions. Like I said, if you guys have any questions about any of this stuff, feel free to post them down below, and we'll try to get them answered. I'm going to go ahead and move along to the new ScrappyDew store and what's out there and how you guys can use it and some of the cool features that we put in the new store. So let me go ahead and share my desktop again, and we'll take a look at it. All right. Okay. So the brand new ScrappyDew site, totally redone. We're actually using a shop called Shopify to host all this stuff, and I tell you, it was a pretty big tasking for mainly Michelle and I, because this, we had over 500 something patterns, and there was no quick way to export all those patterns to this new store system. So what's that mean for all those previous, I guess before March 7th purchases from the ScrappyDew store? That means you have to get your downloads now, and we'll post a link on how to get those, because you have until the end of May to get all those downloads downloaded, because there wasn't any way for us to transfer over any of your guys' orders to the new system. Okay, so that's why you should go down there and download them now. We did send out a mass email to every single person that has purchased over, since basically 2010, and saying, hey, go grab your downloads because they're leaving. Okay, so the brand new store, we're actually getting into stamps now, and we call them dewdrops. Okay, so our first stamp out here just in time for Easter, called Expert Hunters. That's our dewdrop here, and so now we're doing that. Michelle's warehousing all these, shipping them from her house, and this is our first set. Our next set's in the works. Should be out maybe in 2 weeks, I think, maybe. So keep an eye on that. It should be, this next stamp set should be pretty big, because everyone's it can be used with the ScrappyDew Scrap Factory. It can be used with basically any one of our little ScrappyDew patterns. Okay, so we got the dewdrops. Those are kind of cool. Okay, digital patterns. Okay, so we have weekly deals, and so to go along with these weekly deals. Okay, so like I said, we had over 500 patterns to put in here, and we decided to just go with the ones from 2013, 14, and 15. And now we're trying to trickle in the 2012. So if you didn't have some of these 2012s, they're all trickling in. We'll probably be releasing like 7 a week. 7 a week. That was my plans, anyways, to do that. Also, you'll see that we have new pricing. Okay, so we have no pattern now, no pattern in our store. Should be about above $5. So great deal. These new ones here, not new ones, but these ones that we're reintegrating. The week that they come out should be around 50% off. So we also have that free. This one right here is free. So we got the free little Easter egg bunny. Okay, so another great thing about the ScrappyDew store is you guys get your own logins. Okay, so now you can log in. You'll scroll to the top. You can log in, and all the current downloads that are all the current orders that you currently have will show up now in your history, and so now you can just scroll down and find which one you want, find which one you're missing, and you can go ahead and download it. Okay. Now you'll see a download of 0 to 100 times. If you reach that 100, which is kind of crazy, if you would, just let us know. We'll reset that, because you shouldn't have to pay for another file that you already bought. Okay. So that's the intent with that. We do have wish lists. People are wanting, hey, can I get a wish list? Well, yes, you can. All you have to do is you have an account first, and then you just click that little heart, and that adds it to your wish list. Okay, so I can add that right there, and that should change to a 1, and it should turn solid. And now I can go over here to my wish list, and you can, once you go to the wish list here, it will have all the stuff listed here that your favorites. You can go ahead and add to cart there. One of the other features that we did add to this, so if you want to see all the digital patterns that we currently own, you can just hit the digital patterns. So you'll hover your mouse over this, and you'll see the quick view. So that's the quickest way to add stuff to your cart. Is boom, add it to your cart. Okay. So lots of cool changes for the ScrappyDew store. I'm excited. It seems very very easy to use. I've been getting great response from the people that are used to the old way, and now they have the new way, and they like it a lot. Okay. And I think that's about it on the store. Let me see.
How about the blogs?
Oh yeah. So the blogs, you can scroll down here. Is it down here? Yeah. So we have
up at the top.
Yeah. Okay. So we got the blogs right here, and we have the ScrappyDew duets. That's where our design team, they'll come out with a design. They'll come out with a cool layout, use our patterns, and then it will go up here on the blog. So this is what will give you guys some creativity on what you guys can actually do with the patterns. It gives you a brief description on what files they used. You got the links right there that you're able to go to the ScrappyDew store and purchase if you wish. Okay. And if you're looking for, hey, what can I design with Scrap Factory programs, or with the Scrap Factory dolls? We also have a Scrap Factory gallery, which is a blog right here. So this is what you can create with the Scrap Factory program. So it gives you little creative ideas on what you can do with some of these piecings. Also, I thought there was something else that I wanted to hit up down there. Oh, the Vault members. Okay, so if you are a ScrappyDew Vault member, you can come to ScrappyDew.com, and you can go all the way to the bottom, and you'll see Vault members. That's where this information will pop up here. Where you can actually go to the ScrappyDew Vault and actually log in. Okay, so all you have to do is click this. I did have to give it a new URL, a new custom domain. It's called ScrappyDewMembers.com, and that's where this is where that link will take you, ScrappyDewMembers.com, and you'll still have the same username, you'll still have the same password where you can log in and get all your stuff. Okay, I just had to have it on 2 different domains. Also, if you're here for, if you use Make the Cut, you notice that we did have the Make the Cut classroom. So moving over to the store, we couldn't bring that along with us. So what I ended up doing is, if you go to mtcclassroom.com, you'll be able to visit the same stuff that you were used to on the ScrappyDew side. Okay, so I had to buy another domain for this, and that's where you can go and still find out all those great tutorials that we've had in the past. Okay, I think that's it. Unless you can find anything, Michelle.
No, there's a question if you would send out the information again on how to import the files from the old site. I did put a link. I did put a link in the.
Yeah. I'll go here. All right, so it's scrappydew.cartloom.com/lookup. Michelle, like she said, she put it in there. All you have to do is, don't go to this one. Just go to Retrieve Order History and type in your email address, and all your stuff will be sent to you. Now, if your orders are like if you don't have that many orders, feel free to contact us. We may be able to slip them into the new system, but it is a little bit time consuming. For you guys that ordered a lot of stuff, that's a little too much than what we can handle. So this is what we recommend. We recommend you going here, downloading it. Use your email and you'll get all the download links. Go ahead and go through every single one, download it. And what I always use is Dropbox. I use Dropbox.com. If you use Google, they have Google Drive. So a lot of options out there for you. Okay. So keep in mind all those links that you get from this website here, the ScrappyDew.cartloom.com. You'll actually have until May to download them all. Okay. Any other questions, Michelle?
I don't see any. Just a comment from Deborah. She said that the new store layout is great, and she said it's so user-friendly.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I mean, I'm very happy with Shopify on what they do for us and what they provide, not only for you guys, but for us as well. We get to see what's hot, what's popping, and so it's great for that as well to see what people are interested in. And it helps my wife narrow down the focus on what she should design. All right, let me go ahead and scroll through these one last time. All right. Okay, keep in mind, Vault members, I've already sent out an email to you guys as well. You guys are used to getting a big, huge discount. Keep in mind that we've reduced the prices in the store. We also reduced your percentage, but the end result should result, about the same price that you're used to. Okay, so keep that in mind. Can't think of anything else. All right. Yeah, I'm not seeing any more questions out there. I do appreciate you guys coming, checking us out, and I guess we'll do this next week. New topic. Okay. Oh, I think we see one last question here. Maybe Michelle, you can answer this one. This one says, "I'm new and I want. It says I'm new and I want to do this. Which machine do you recommend for a beginner?"
Well, there's a couple things. How much money are you willing to spend, and what type of projects are you willing to create? The Cameo is a good machine for a beginner. You can do a lot of projects with vinyl. The Cameo will cut some heavy cardstock, but it is limited on heavier weight cardstock. You might have to do a couple passes on that. That would be a good machine for a beginner. There's also the Eclipse. That probably would be a good machine for a beginner as well.
Yeah, when we first started out, we used the Cricut machine, and then we progressed into the Cameo. And so it was a good transition, from the Cricut. If you're used to a Cricut expression, for example, and you want to move to the Cameo, it was an easy transition from the Cricut to that. Mm-hmm. And now we have I think we have the our household anyway. We have the Black Cat Cougar, and then we have the Silver Bullet. So.
And there's the K&K Zing.
Yep. The Zing. Yep. That might
Gazelle.
be
There's
a
a Voscutt Gazelle too. That cuts a lot of heavier weight.
Yeah, it just depends on what kind of crafts are you wanting.
Exactly.
To do.
Mm-hmm.
And are you comfortable with a learning curve? So. So I think that's about it. I don't want to keep you guys past anything. So I guess we'll see you next week. Okay. Thanks for watching, guys.
Bye.